Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, man and a child among those injured in Mandeville crash. Firefighters had to be called in to extricate a man who was pinned inside a car, resulting from a two-vehicle crash on Ward Avenue in Mandeville on Emancipation Day Friday. A report from the Jamaica Fire Brigade said that the Mandeville Fire Station received a call regarding the crash at 10:42 a.m. Firefighters removed the injured man from the mangled car and he was taken to hospital. Passers-by assisted other injured people, including a child, to hospital. The crash involved a Toyota Isis motor car that was being operated as a taxi and a sedan motor car. This is the second major crash reported in Manchester in the past 24 hours. It follows Thursday's crash on the Winston Jones Highway, which left two men with serious injuries after the truck they were traveling in overturned off the main road, with the vehicle being ripped apart during the crash. The Jamaica Constabulary Forces Public Safety and the Traffic Enforcement Branch says the police officers will be strategically positioned at the crash hotspots over the Emancipation and the Independence holidays. Assistant Commissioner Dr. Gary Mackenzie, head of PSTEB, says that the latest statistics on road deaths have left the authorities concerned. 40 people died from 29 collisions in July, marking only the 10th time since 2010 that Jamaica has recorded 40 or more road fatalities in a single month. A total of 229 people have died in road crashes so far this year, a 3% increase when compared with the corresponding period last year. Dr. Mackenzie says PSTEB will be utilizing social media along with a police presence on the roads to encourage safe driving practices, but he is reminding motorists and the pedestrians of their personal responsibilities.
We will be ensuring that we place our officers strategically to prevent, because that's the first thing, to ensure that we try to prevent. But one of the things we want to say to people is that let us not be slavish in how we act on the roadway. Let us be responsible. The police cannot be everywhere. We have issued over 420,000 tickets already so far this year, which is nearly 40,000 more than last year. So enforcement alone will not help because we are still having crashes. What we have done is that we are concentrating a lot on movable offenses. And so when we look at the main cause of our crashes, for example, driving at excessive speeds, improper overtaking causing obstruction, fail to keep to the left, and so on. Those tickets take up a bulk of what we issue. Of course, there are other issues that tickets are also issued for.
If it forms the next government. Opposition leader Mark Golding says if the People's National Party forms the next government, it will make changes to the gag clause in the Integrity Commission Act to ensure that the names of politicians and the government officials under investigation are made public. The clause currently prevents the IC from disclosing the names of parliamentarians and officials under investigation. Speaking at a party meeting on Wednesday in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, Mr. Golding said changes will be made to the law under his administration.
We will support the Integrity Commission and their work. And in fact, the gag clause that is in there that says them can't report nothing until them send them final report to Parliament, we're going to modify that to give it more balance, because I can't see how it's right that people going into this general election and they don't know whether the person on the ballot is somebody under investigation for illicit enrichment, and that is not right. And we are going to ensure that every member of the executive, just like mine and the Prime Minister, well, his should be but isn't, but mine is, certified and published in summary form, our statutory declaration. All members of the executive will have to go through that too. So we have transparency in government. And we will bring impeachment legislation to Parliament. Because when I see our MP is caught on video with a stool beating up a woman in a car park and nothing happened to that person and them have him as a candidate again for their party, I said that can't be right. Jamaica deserves better than that.
JTA supports a proposed extension of school day under specific conditions. President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Dr. Mark Smith, says that the proposal for an extension of school days by 2 hours to address the crisis in education has a merit if it is focused on specific areas. Opposition Senator Damon Crawford, who has put forward the proposal, says the participation in the extended school days would not be free, as teachers would be compensated for the hours. Speaking with the news on Tuesday, Dr. Smith said he would not support a broad implementation of the initiative.
So you move to a community-based solution. If it is a community has a challenge as it relates to parents not being able to put in place childcare to monitor their children after school, that is something the PTA, the school, so I mean, the principal, the teachers would sit down and say, is this something that will work? If the government is willing to fund such a model and it is voluntary, I have no challenges with that. But it cannot be, and I reject staunchly any idea of extending the school day. We do not support that broadly. For too often the initiatives in schools are actually funded by the schools, which means they have to be doing fundraisers. Too many of our educators are involved in fundraising activities to fund many of these initiatives. We have some schools in which up to 50% of the children come to the school reading below the required level. We need strong intervention at the primary level because we know it costs us 10 times more to the remedial work at the high school level.
Stuart Jacobs, president of the National Parent-Teacher Association of Jamaica, has also suggested that stakeholder meetings be held on the proposed extension of school days. Mr. Jacobs has said a holistic approach to the issues affecting the education sector is recommended in the Orlando Patterson-led Reform of Education report released in 2021.
Anything at this time to add value to our education system is welcome. And what the Senator Crawford has proposed is one that can be looked at. We need to look at the cost of it and how it would tie into what it is that currently exists. What I do like about it is that there's some thought in it, there's some thinking, and I like the fact that both sides of the political divide are now putting education at the forefront, as it ought to be. And so this one is something that can be looked at, can be studied a bit more.
Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.